Show then with a conversation I had with Manu Rikhai, who is the partner at Mirac Ventures, as they talk about their focus of investing in climate tech, SaaS, as well as InsurTech, EV, carbon and digital solutions. Listen in.
Yes, thank you for having me here, Aman. This is a great opportunity to talk about what we do. Uh, so we are a B2B tech-focused fund, but within B2B tech focus, we're sector agnostic. We're looking for founders that are interested in solving real-world problems that make a real impact in the world. So think of ideas that matter. We come in at very early stage. We're happy to come in even at an idea stage. You talked about Space Tech, one of our portfolio companies called Pixel. When we invested in them, the two founders were still in college, and we were happy to partner alongside them. So from idea stage to very early revenue stage is when we come in and then work alongside founders and handhold them in their journey from seed to Series A, from 0 to 1, as we call it.
Okay, fair enough. And what has been your observation, if you will, in particular when it comes to the climate tech space as a whole? Because while now everyone can't stop talking about themes like EVs and digital solutions, a few years ago, perhaps it wasn't the hottest sector to be in. So what has been your observation on how the sector has really evolved? And more importantly, what kind of potential do you foresee down the line?
Yeah, I think one of the things that all of us as individuals and citizens of this world are realizing is that climate change is real. It's affecting everybody's life, your and mine, as much as anyone else on the planet, which basically means that more and more people are getting interested in addressing this challenge that humanity faces, which is very exciting. I think that recognition becoming more real is also going to make more capital available and drive the right set of conversations between founders, investors, policymakers, and various stakeholders. The challenge that sometimes happens when there is too much interest is it creates noise and confusion. And climate tech as a sector is also going through a little bit of that shift, right? There is a lot of focus around it. And sometimes we also find founders force-fitting ideas into everything becomes climate tech. So our job as investors is to find founders who are passionate about addressing this challenge that humanity faces, have identified a very specific, narrow problem, have wherewithal to address this problem by creating a solution that is viable, that can stand on its own 2 feet, and then work alongside them in helping them build that, in helping them scale that. I think the good thing that's also happened is now there's enough patient capital available that will work alongside this top talent to create long-term impact, long-term viable businesses that will change how we're dealing with some of these issues. And those changes could range from looking at agri supply chain as an example. So if you look at India, we've always had an inefficient agri supply chain. A lot is produced, but a fair bit of that gets wasted from farm to the fork. Can we improve that? There'd be businesses that will get created that will help finance these climate tech opportunities, right? So think of solar. There's significant adoption in solar, but how do you finance this adoption of solar solutions by businesses or homes so that opportunity around financing would exist? There'd be other data-led businesses that will help monitor various businesses and their impact on climate and help them become more efficient. So I think all in all, that's going to be tremendous interest, tremendous innovation, and we're just excited if working alongside some of these founders in helping them achieve that objective.
Yep. So Manu, given that you're looking at seed stage B2B and emerging technology companies, how critical do you think is it for a lot of these companies to really utilize new technologies, and how critical is it, do you think, to adapt to the ever-changing technology landscape?
That's the largest challenge that a founder faces today, that when they start a business, technology landscape is of a certain type, and it's not static. So it's ever changing, and it's changing at the faster rate than we've ever witnessed in at least our living memories. So the ones that are successful, the businesses that are successful, are businesses that are nimble, that are agile, that can integrate and adopt some of these technologies faster to address the use case. Technology is nothing but a tool. I think founders that respect that, understand that, and can find applications of that tool are more likely to succeed. So today you may use a hammer and tomorrow you may use a spanner, because cost of building an operation has gone up, right? So today founders have to pay more salaries. They have to pay higher tech costs. So, what you could build in $500,000 earlier, you probably need $1 million easily now. And we're cognizant of that and appropriately fund the businesses.
What's been your assessment of the Cleanup Act, if you will, that a lot of startups as well have been taking, be it the layoffs that we've seen, companies as well focusing on the path to profitability. Is there still a long way to go, or is it positive that we're at least seeing baby steps or steps in that direction?
I think there's a long way to go. Abundance makes any society lazy, dumb, and fat. And what's happened here is that there has been an environment of abundance over the last few years, which has led to all of us in the ecosystem becoming a little bit more complacent, including founders and companies. This new environment is driving focus around fundamentals, like you said, right? Unit economics, profitability, path to sustaining the business on its own without requiring external capital, which is bringing changes at multiple levels, starting first and foremost with the mindset of founders and investors, where everybody is asking the right questions and bringing about strategies that will help deliver on these outcomes that I just outlined. I think this period of difficulty and pain is probably going to last for another 12 to 18 months, but it'll render the system far more healthier and robust. You will also find some very exciting businesses being seeded in this period, because it's also going to attract people and founders of very high conviction to take a leap of faith and in this environment and start to build a business. And the ones that will therefore build some outstanding businesses that we will look back a decade later and would be amazed by. And, I'm sure they will touch all our lives in some way or the other. So there's a mixed bag. There is some amount of pain. There is some degree of excitement. But when you look back at this period, we'd all collectively say that this probably was the best thing that happened to the Indian startup ecosystem.
Yeah, fair enough. A Cleanup Act and emerging, healthier on the other side. So, Manu, walk us through, the investments that you made in startups. Anything that really stands out?
Sure. So, like I said, we've been investing in businesses that are looking to solve real-world problems. We have been investing through two vehicles. First, we were investing through the GrowX Ventures Fund, and now we're investing through the Miraaq Fund. Both are investing in the same thesis. And from the GrowX Fund 1, which is now fully deployed, we made the last investment, our 17th investment, in a company called OneStack. All across the 17 companies, you'd see that there is this theme where people have built some very valuable businesses that are highly capital efficient. Each of our business needed far lesser capital than many others in the industry. Some of the early winners from our portfolio are companies like ProcCap. ProcCap's building a working capital finance solution for retailers in tier 2, tier 3 cities. Think of people selling cell phones, consumer durables, white goods, even cement and steel now. These retailers are finding it very hard to access formal credit, especially as a working capital product. And that's what ProcCap has solved. It's gone to the anchor brands like Samsung and, in terms of cell phones, Oppo and others, and, kind of built that whole supply chain out and provided these retailers the access to this formal credit, which has in turn improved their disposable income and helped them sell more. The other company is Pixel, which is building constellation of hyperspectral imagery satellites. I referred to them earlier. They were young boys in college when we invested in them. In the last 4 years, they've actually launched 3 satellites. 2 of them are operational. these are capturing very high quality data from space, which can then be used for agriculture. It could be used for mining. It could be used by businesses focused around climate, right? Monitoring of various landscapes. And then there is other businesses which are more tech enabled, like Advantage Club, which is an employee engagement and retention focused business, which is helping people reward their employees far more effectively and make it fair and transparent and make it very easy for employees to consume these rewards. India's leading brands and employers are now using Advantage Club as a solution to drive up engagement and belongingness and pride amongst their employees. Our final, most recent investment is in a company called OneStack. OneStack is building a stack of technology and solutions for cooperative banks and credit societies. So in the last decade or so, a lot of the innovation around fintech has been focused around the larger banks of India, and customers like you and I. But 50% of India's bankable population lives away from these cities, operates through these banks, which are credit societies, cooperative banks. The deposits that these banks hold today are to the tune of 11 lakh crores. These banks have lent about 16 lakh crores. And yet for many of these customers to avail UPI through their bank has been very difficult and challenging. They haven't been able to access simple facilities like that. In order for them to know their bank balance, they've had to go to the bank branch. OneStack has built some very interesting, exciting, simple to implement technology and tools that is digitizing these banks and helping the end consumer access financial products and bring them at par with folks like you and me.
Good to have you on board. Thanks so much for joining in and giving us more clarity and perspective on the investments and the style of investing.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here.